Hi everybody, it's Chef Rob from the Kitchen Market.
Hi, and I'm Linda from Linda Hillier Yoga.
Well, it's Heart Healthy Month, and I thought before we start cooking our recipe for today, I asked Linda to join in and give us some hints about what we can do to really keep our hearts healthy.
Thanks, Rob. One of the things from working from home is you sit. You sit in your chair, then you move to your couch. So let's talk about today. I'm going to give you some quick little exercises you can do while sitting in your chair. Take a break from the spreadsheet, take a break from the phone call, something quick. Part of the ability of your heart is to pump the blood full of oxygen throughout your body. So get your body moving a bit to make it easier for your heart and easier for your limbs. Start by taking your right hand, lift up that right fleshy cheek. We've all got one. Place it under there. Gently tip your left ear to your left shoulder. Feel what happens in the right side of your body. Just sit there for a minute. Feel that. Take your right hand out. Try your left side. Each side's going to feel just a little bit different. Right ear to right shoulder. Tip. Just a bit. Come back to center. Place your left hand on the floor. Well, you're going to hang it down the chair. Whatever works for you, that right arm's going to lift up to the sky and then tip over just a bit. Important to go up before you go over. Stretch that side body out. It feels good. Try the other side. Place the one hand down. The other arm comes up and over. You got some choices here. Look down, look up. But take this short break from watching your computer screen. Bring your hands down. You're sitting in that chair. How about you slide your bum just to the edge of the chair. You just give a slight turn. Come on around. One way and the other way. Do as many as what you feel you need to do to keep yourself motivated, just to feel a bit different, to come back to your chair, come back to your workout. Lift your shoulders up. 3, 2, 1. Try that a few times. Roll your shoulders forward and back a few times, and then push your shoulder blades back. Keep your chest wide open. Hopefully, these few tips will keep you motivated to keep working and keep you comfortable at your home office. Have a good day.
Thanks, Linda. Wow, okay, I'm all ready. Let's go up to the kitchen and let's cook. Hi everybody, welcome back. So the recipe I'd like to share with you guys today is my gourmet pizza. Healthy gourmet pizza nuts. So again, you'll see in YouTube there, drop down box, all the ingredients are there and all that stuff. Okay, all right. So here we go. Starts with the dough. It's a whole wheat dough. Now in the recipe, you're going to see what we call a poulish, and all a poulish is it's a fermentation process, right? It's equal parts of water to flour, and then yeast in that. And for me, I always put I put a little honey in there too. Okay, so you'll see all the ingredients in there. And so a couple things with a poulish. To really get that beautiful taste, I like to do mine overnight. So ahead of time, I did this one. So equal parts of flour and water with the yeast and that and honey. And that's what a poulish looks like. So now a couple things with it. If I put it on the counter, when I ferment on the counter, I get a lot of air with it, right? So you'll get a very airy product from it, right? So if I'm doing one if all of a sudden wake up in the morning and say, hey, I gotta have pizza, I would do one for 6 or 7 hours, just leave it on the counter now. I find the best case is if I can do this overnight. And that 24 hours of that fermenting really brings on that beautiful flavor. So if you ever go to that restaurant, have that amazing pizza, I'm pretty sure they would work with a poulish in that they would get that fermentation in that, okay? All right, so we got our poulish. What we're going to do now is we're going to add the remaining water. Okay, we're going to add our salt. And again, I always say kosher salt. And we're going to add our olive oil. And we're going to add our 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And we're just going to, so now what we want to do is we want to take that poulish and we just sort of want to mix it all up with the water, right? So we're just going to mix. Okay, so we got our poulish mix. So now we're just going to take our poulish and we're going to put it in our bowl. Make sure you get all that beautiful poulish with that. Okay, so now we're going to take our flour that we measured out, the remaining of the flour, and just, we're going to put it in, you know, a third of it. And just using your spatula, I just sort of kind of roll it around the bowl. So I'm just mixing it. And the one nice thing about this one is we're going to knead it by hand. So this will be good for healthy heart. We'll have a bit of a workout too. All right, so just put a little more in. I'm just sort of kind of rolling it in, mixing. And we'll put the remainder of the flour in. The key is try to keep it in the bowl. So we just mix it. Excellent. And just keep mixing it. It takes a little bit of work to come together, but it will all come together, okay? So now, once we've got it mixed the best you can, then we're going to start the real working process. So let's just lay it out on our mat here. And again, make sure you get all that flour. Now for me, so all I'm doing is just I'm laying it over and using the heel of my hand to do it. I find, for me, this is one of the ones I enjoy doing. I find it very relaxing. I love making breads and doughs and that. And again, so if you just sort of I just pick up the excess flour, and you'll find you'll grab all the flour and it'll get all used up, okay? So again, so I'm just sort of kind of rolling and pushing with the heel of my hand, okay? Okay, so I got my dough knead, and a way to tell if you need it enough, just sort of push it in, use your thumb, push it in, and what you should see is a very slow spring back, okay? And that tells you you've kneaded your dough enough, okay? Now, next thing to do is we want to get it into a nice tight ball, okay? And this is really around this process helps us when we want to roll it out to make that pizza, okay? So just sort of kind of nip the bottom with your hands and then just roll it back and forth so you get that beautiful ball of dough. All right, so let's grab our pan here. So what we want to do is we want to just add some oil to this. So a little olive oil, and I'm just going to pour it on the top, okay? And then I'm just going to rub it all around the bowl and that. Now, the one thing I want is, remember, this will always be our top, okay, for our pizza. And it'll make sense as we go down when we're sitting there and we're forming our pizza, okay? All right. So now what we need to do is put a towel over it and then let it rest for about an hour. Okay, so we have our dough covered and proofing right now. So while we're waiting for that, let's talk a bit about baking and that. One of the things I get asked a lot about is, you know, the use of scales, right? what I find is when baking is about exacts, and the benefit of a scale is absolutely you'll have 5 times more success with it than that when you're baking. So one of the things I always encourage people is go out, invest in a scale, fairly inexpensive. Absolutely put this on your bucket list, and I can't stress enough, it makes baking that much easier for you and getting those ingredients and getting those exact ingredients. Okay, so good investment. All right, so we have our sauce. So it's just, I got a little bit of tomato paste in here, some basil in here, some dry basil, and just mixing it up. Now the tomatoes in there, I had, you can go buy, I like the fire roasted tomatoes in a can. You can get them, any sort of stewed tomatoes, whatever. One of the things I enjoy doing in the summertime is when I grow plum tomatoes. I love just jarring them up, throwing them down in the fruit cellar, and then pulling them out when I'm doing recipes like pizza and stuff like that. So that's what I have in mind. Again, but really just whatever you can find in there. It's lots of different tomatoes and stuff like that. Okay, excellent. All right, so I got my tomatoes ready. I've got my, I sliced up some garlic in that, garlic cloves. Now, the one thing I want to do with this is part of when I start the cooking process of my pizza, I'm going to lay these slices on there, and it's almost going to get a little roasted to them, and really adds a beautiful flavor to that pizza. Okay. All right. So we have our shredded cheese all up, and we got some nice fresh arugula, and then cherry tomatoes that I picked up at the market. Just chopped them in half and that. So we have all our ingredients ready, and then the last thing is our balsamic. Now, doing a balsamic, you can make your own real easy. All it is just balsamic vinaigrette in a saucepan, reduce it, like simmer it, and just reduce it by half, and you'll make a beautiful balsamic glaze in that again. And again, you could buy that if you wish in that too, right? So not hard to make, but for ease, actually, there's, like I say, there's lots of brands out there for this, and it really brings out that beautiful flavor in this pizza and that. Okay, all right, so. While we'll let our pizza dough rise, and in the meantime, let's get our oven on. We're going to set it to 450 degrees and get our pizza pan ready. I use a pizza stone. You can use a pizza pan, and if you don't have either, actually just a cookie sheet is fine. We can do it right on a cookie sheet of that. Okay. All right. So let's get our stoves all set, and then wait for our pizza dough to rise, and let's make a pizza. All right. See you shortly. All right, so my dough has doubled in size, and it's about an hour or so for it to proof in that. So what we're doing, just going to slowly pull it out. Remember what I talked about earlier was this is always going to be my top. Okay, all right. So now a couple things with doing your dough. Like people talk about, do you do a rolling pin or do you do it by hand? I find shaping a pizza absolutely by hand is easier. So the way I do it is just with my fingers, I'm just sort of kind of pushing it down and just working the dough out like that. And you can just push it. Okay, so it's really easy, and you get that nice sort of edging to it and stuff like that. And I just kind of keep pushing it out. And then once I pushed it out enough, then I can just lift it. And I just keep turning. And no, I'm not going to throw it up in the ceiling. And I'm just sort of stretching out that dough, okay? And again, this dough is really easy to stretch out. And then again, I'm just sort of kind of shaping it, and I just keep pushing it out. And then I'm starting to use the palms of my hands too to shape it. And really, I find this is so much easier to, shape out your dough in that, okay? Oh, it looks wonderful. Okay, so again, I'm just using my hands, and I'm just shaping it out. And really what I'm trying to do is try to get that bottom thin, because what I really want is I want that nice crust around it, but then I want the bottom to have that sort of bit of a crust taste to it too, okay? So a nice crispness to it, okay? All right, so there we go. So I have my pizza all shaped out. Very simple, just using your hands again, just sort of work it out, and then just roll it, just sort of stretch it in that, okay? Now, one of the things I do is I'm using a pizza stone. I like to preheat my pizza stone ahead of time so it's ready. If you're using just a sheet pan, no need to do that. You can put a little cornmeal on there, dust it a bit if you wish, or oil in that. I've used this one so many times and stuff like that that I don't need to have to do that anymore, okay? So I'm just gonna fold it in half, and I'm just gonna lay it on my pizza stone. And then I may want to just sort of kind of spread it a little more, okay? Now, this is gonna be a two-stage process, right? So first stage is we want to cook the crust with the sauce. And for about 10 minutes. And that allows that crust to, both the whole thing to get crispy in that on the bottom. And it gives you that beautiful taste that you're looking for, okay? So I spread my sauce on. And really this is sort of your preference. How much sauce do you like on your pizza now, okay? So we'll get our sauce on. Beautiful. Now this is the one thing we talked about was the garlic that I slice up. And what I find is I put this garlic on now and it just actually roasts a little bit. So I just sort of kind of spread this around the pizza. And it just really adds that little extra flavor to it. It's a beautiful taste with the garlic now. Okay. So I got my sauce on, I got my garlic on here, and now I'm just gonna put it in the oven. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in the oven, I'm gonna cook it for 10 minutes, I'm gonna take it out, and then we'll put the rest of our ingredients on, okay? So let's get it in the oven, 10 minutes. Okay, so we have that first 10 minutes of cooking in there. You can see the pizza's taken shape in that, the sauce is cooked in that, and it's all like it's about halfway cooked around the edge in that, so perfect. So now what we want to do is we want to add our mozzarella cheese. Now this one you could sub in maybe feta if you prefer feta with this. So I just spread out all that beautiful mozzarella. And add some beautiful cherry tomatoes. And again, this is the beauty of a pizza. Be as creative as you want with it. All right, so we have our tomatoes almost on. Let's get them nice and spread out. Beautiful. Okay. So we have our tomatoes on. Now we're just going to throw it back in the oven again for another 10 minutes until the edges are beautifully and nice and crispy, okay? All right, let's give it another 10 minutes. All right, so we have our pizza all cooked up here. Let's finish it off. We have some beautiful arugula, and we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of this on. Oh, that looks beautiful. So a little bit of arugula on. And then we take this beautiful balsamic. And then we just pour it ever so gently on. Oh. Beautiful. Oh. And there we go. So a beautiful, heart healthy gourmet pizza. So try it. It is a delicious pizza. And again, play around with it. Anything you want to add to it in that, okay? So again, the Kitchener Market is open from 7 a.m. till 2 p.m. on Saturday. For all the vendors, just check kitchener.ca/vendor. It'll have all the vendors that are going to be at the market and if there's any protocol changes, okay? So, thank you for joining me.